vaccinated. We
Oh,
got
really?
like 700,000. Yeah, we've been on lockdown though, so
Really?
it hasn't bothered me by the least, but by the least, it hasn't bothered me. But I think they're gonna start doing the green card things. So
Hmm.
if you got vaccinated, you can get the green card. I'm not sure what's the situation like over where you're at.
Well, we're back home in Chicago, and just to let you know, I just started rolling it already, so just it's super conversational, so that's already recording. But situation back home, it's not the greatest. I hate politics, but people just think they're invisible to to the virus. I don't know why people think this is fake. It's far from fake. It's a death machine. So it's like it's frustrating. So that's what keeps setting us back. I look at Canada and I go, God, I can't even escape to go to Canada because they won't even let us in. So it's like it's tough. I just wish we all can help each other out like we did at the start of the pandemic when
I know,
everybody
right?
was, hey, what do you need? I got you. Everyone was right then and there. And then it started to turn into some just a mess.
Yeah, I know, right? If
It's
people
just,
just acting
yeah,
dramatic.
it's like, come on. It's like, you want to get back to normal? Just do what you're supposed to do. It's not that hard. Yeah, no one wants to wear a mask. I get it. But just do it. It's not hard. It's not uncomfortable. It's like, just like, I don't know. I think it's just, it's comical and it shouldn't be. I mean, it's a serious thing. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm. For
yeah,
sure.
it's crazy. Now it's got to be hard for you though, man. You're over there in Jerusalem. You got family back home here. What has been so hard about being separated through the past year? Have you been able to come home at all, or you've been there the whole time?
Um, well, when the pandemic started, I was in Kazakhstan
Oh wow,
in
okay,
March. And so then I went back home, our
right.
season ended, and then I was at home for 6 months, and then I left for Jerusalem. I think it was in August. It was in
August, yeah,
August. So I've been here since August, and I wouldn't say it's hard. There can be some challenging moments at
sure,
times. I miss my family, tremendously, but for the most part, I just kind of took this time to just try to figure myself out and become the best version of myself. And as cliche as that sounds, like
right,
that's, with COVID happening, like it was terrible for the world, but I'm very optimistic. I was like, okay, like something's good for me personally. Something's good
right.
got to come out of this,
Hmm.
So I just started doing different stuff. I was able to reprogram my brain a little bit, so I tapped into different knowledge and different interests to keep me sane. I'll be in
Right,
the house all the time, in the house and in the gym, but like this is like the most fun and productive I've ever been.
right.
Period.
Yeah, no,
So
that's great, man. Now, you're what is it? You're not even 25. You're 25 years old. You're sitting in Jerusalem playing basketball overseas. Did you ever imagine you'd be in the position you are right now when you graduated from U of I?
honestly, I had no idea what type of situation I was going to be with, because, as a college kid, you dream about going to the NBA. I
Right.
wasn't thinking about overseas at all. I'm trying to get to the league, this and
Of
that.
course. Yeah, yeah.
So now that I'm Jerusalem, I would have never imagined in my wildest dreams being in the position I am, including basketball and
Right.
stuff outside the court, the stuff I do with my free time,
Hmm.
how I take care of myself, just everything. Like I would have never imagined me turning out to be this type of person at 25.
Right. No, and the funny thing is I feel like college is a time where you develop this identity. It's like LeBron James put it when he went to Miami, because he never went to college obviously, but when he went to Miami, that was his college. That was 4 years of fun for him. And that's how he described it. So for you, that experience is all great now, and then you transition to something different. And that was, unfortunately going undrafted, playing in the summer league, and then, going overseas to play. What was so frustrating about that gap between the final game of your collegiate career and that time period from bouncing around from the Thunder to the Jazz? What was so trying about that time for you? And was there a point that you're like, you know what, screw it, I this is aggravating. It's not clicking. I'm not getting this. Like, because that had to be trying. I mean, as someone who's grown up playing the game they love so much, you dream of getting there. I mean, you got there. That playing in the summer leagues more incredible than, people talk down about it and say it in a desponding manner. But no, that's bullshit. It's the NBA. I mean, to get that close and then for it to go out the way it did, was it frustrating for you? And how did you kind of keep trucking and move on through?
Yeah, it was very frustrating. The most frustrating part about it is just the uncertainty piece.
Sure. Yeah.
4 years, you're working on a schedule. They tell you to be here, this, and that, for the week.
Right.
So when you have that draft process, a lot of that stuff is on the fly, and it's very different and unique. I mean, you go from private planes having your whole role to, you're in airports like you're a regular person.
Right.
And it's, that little stuff right there, just going in the airport with other people, that was like different for me. I was like, damn, like this is an adjustment, because 4 years you just used to walking on a plane with your crew and
right.
That's it. But the uncertainty piece of not knowing where I'm gonna end up, and then, just my past life when I was coming out of college, I was very insecure. So I was always just like too worried about just what other people were saying about me, too worried about what the teams were thinking about me. I've never been to the tournament, so my name's not like a big time, hot market type name in the basketball world. It was different just seeing a lot of the guys competing, and I kind of felt just kind of shy in a way because a lot of the guys knew each other and I didn't. So just the whole mental piece for it was really hard for me to get to that. And like, I'm not in Illinois anymore. People don't know who I am. And I kind of had a laid back personality. So like going into the workouts, I kind of just like laid back, and kind of, not really aggressive. So it was very challenging and tough. And then having to bounce around, just that uncertainty piece, man, that's one of the biggest things because like, for me, when I became uncertain, it created anxiety.
Right. Yeah.
Whenever you have anxiety, it's very hard to focus on the present moment and try to make the best of like where you're at right now. I'm always worrying, you know what I'm saying? Even in the workouts, I'll miss a shot.
Yeah. It affects everything you do. It's crazy. Everything,
you know what I mean? So when athletes talk about like the mental health piece, like that's a big thing,
right?
Especially for college kids, like you're giving everything at 18 before your brain's fully developed,
right?
You're treated like a rock star. You get all that taken away from you, and now you got to start over. It's like a lot of people can't handle that,
right?
And my motto growing up was like, hard work always prevails. I set goals now, but even when I never set goals.
Right.
I don't know what's gonna happen, but I just gotta work hard, and something good's gonna happen. So that's just kind of how I kept pushing, especially with my overseas journey. Just keep working hard. So hard work has took me a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing that I talked about in my intro before I brought you on here was the change, because when you were at U of I, you reminded me a lot of Kevin Durant. How he approaches the media. He's very laid back, very quiet, very humbled. So I'm like, I don't know how this is going to work. Is this like, I was trying to figure it out because you were always the quiet one. You always, what was so important about, it's not like playing poker, like this is a strategy, but it seemed like naturally you were just humbled and grounded. What was so important, and if at all difficult about being able to remain in that state, while playing in college because of the fact, you're playing in the Big Ten. I mean, you're playing power conference. What was so important, and what was the reason you were always grounded and humble. You never had a big ego, even if you dropped 28 against Maryland. I mean, you were still, you're very reserved, and that speaks volume to where you are today and what you've accomplished. But how important is that to you?
It's really important. I can give, appreciation to my parents and the people that have helped raise me for that, like my AU coaches and stuff like that. Coach Pat, he was really well to me. Just making sure that, understanding that, never get too excited or too caught up in, the results of hard work in that moment. So it's okay to enjoy it, but at the same time, keep a level head, can always get better, always find ways to, you had 28 points, but there are some things you messed up in the game. That's just how my mind is wired. So I'm sorry about that.
You're good.
Text, man. Too many people texting me. But yeah, just growing up, because there was a time where I was a little cocky. I had that little St. Louis swagger in me. A lot of people, I was born in St. Louis, in Illinois, and I was 5. So I had that in me. And every time I got a little too cocky, I got humble.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I was like that growing up, but that's where a lot of it comes from. So I kind of, not in a cocky way, but like expect good things to happen because I put in the work behind it.
Sure,
So
of
when
course.
good things happen, it's almost like, okay, like, you know, we expect this. Now, how can we be even better? And whenever bad things happen, like failures, it's an
Right.
opportunity. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
I feel like more eyes look at you once you fail or like, you know what I'm saying, trip up
Mhm.
because it happens to everybody. And the difference between the successful people and the ordinary people that kind of don't have that success is, you know, successful people push through. Everybody fails.
Of course,
You fail
yeah.
in every, not even just basketball, just every aspect and part of life. You're going to fail. You're going to mess up. And literally the only difference, one of the very key differences from, you know, the ones that are successful, the ones that keep going and
Right.
keep finding ways to improve, even when, you know, bad things happen or like failures happen, stuff like that.
No, absolutely. And you know, something that I found interesting too is I didn't know this before you committed and sign officially to U of I, you actually committed to, I think when Weber was his final year, you verbally committed when he was there. And then Gross came in and you reaffirmed that action and commitment saying, yes, I'm going. What was was there a grace period from Weber's news of leaving to Gross's hiring in between there that you weighed your options between the other schools that were on the table? And what was the ultimate factor in saying, you know what, I'm sticking to U of I, you know, I'm confident in this team. I'm confident in Gross. Nothing's gonna, you know, waver in this decision.
The biggest thing was, well, one of them was I hated the recruiting process. I did not like it as a kid. Some people love that attention. I hated it. You know, and the things that came along with the, you know, driving to schools on these unofficial visits. You know, things kind of get repetitive.
Right.
A lot of the coaches telling you the same things.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like which one like is different? You know, so once I kind of saw that Illinois they showed up to like almost every one of my games in the summertime. They were like the only school to do that. So my parents, you know, for the college coaches out here, my parents played a huge role, and you know, Illinois showing up every time, like they're serious. And then plus it's a home school. Like I went to the camps growing up as a kid. I vividly remember like D Brown, Darren Williams, like being in the locker room. Like I was like, this is like pretty cool. So, and on top of that, I actually had a surgery, a thoracic outlet surgery at the time. It was like unknown whether I was going to play basketball or not. And at the time, I didn't know this. They didn't tell me that, but they were like, because I had blood clots and stuff, and that's not normal for kids.
No.
So once they figured that, in the middle of them, that being unknown, Gross promised, like, whatever happens with you, like, you'll still have your scholarship, whether I'm playing or not. A lot of people don't know that, which is why I really appreciate Gross for that. He promised my scholarship, even with all that going on with me. And, you know, I got healthy and great things happened. I ended up going there. That was like one of the biggest, like, when I was one of the biggest things, like, you know, he guaranteed me a scholarship when things were very uncertain. Not too many people would have a good heart to do that. No, it
goes a long way.
Especially because he's new.
Exactly.
New too, so.
Yeah, no, that's key. And, you know, that's funny thing. That was the one thing I was going to bring up next was the whole medical scare. That was 2012, I think. That was right before, literally that year, the year before. What was the message from the doctors? Was there any like serious, you know, concern that this would have been a debilitating, you know, factor for you, you know, pursuing sports in the future? Yeah,
well, I'm very blessed to say the least with this situation because I actually played, like, I had worked out, lifted, played a basketball game, and my arm was only getting bigger and bigger. Just this left arm was just huge, fingers numb because my rib like pressed up against the vein and stopped like the blood flow. Doctor said I could have just passed out and died if I would have just like never got checked up. Yeah, because my blood would have stopped flowing. Instantly. Yeah, crazy, right? So. Yeah.
Wow, you say that. This is crazy. Like, I didn't know it was that bad. Like, I read this story about, you know, the whole little brief, you know, snippets about pieces and parts of that situation. I didn't know it got that bad. So who brought you in? Like, I mean, if you didn't get brought in, I don't think you'd be here right now. So, like, who?
Probably not.
No. So, I mean, like, what was it where you're like, I think I need to go to, I mean, how the hell did you end up in the doctors? Because I mean, to make it that far to where it's like, I mean, once it gets past like your certain point in your body, like it moves all the way up to like past your waist, like time's ticking. You got up pretty far. So what brought you in? Like, were you just like, I think I need to see a doctor? Or were you like in severe pain?
Yo, I'm telling you, like my left arm was so swollen.
So
like,
swollen to the point where you're like, okay, now probably I should go in after it's like so disformed.
You feel me? At first I'm lifting weights. I'm like, I must have really got after it with my left arm.
Right, yeah.
And then, you know, I keep playing. I'm like, geez, this isn't like getting any better.
Right. Yeah. Oh,
so
that's crazy.
we got brought into the doctor, and like the doctors was like mad confused.
Mhm.
They had no idea what was going on, like zero. And another cool thing about that situation was there's only 2 doctors in the world that actually perform thoracic outlet surgery.
Really? In the whole world?
Holy in the world.
Shit.
One's located in Dallas and one's located
Wow.
in St. Louis.
Wow. What are the odds of that being St. Louis?
Man, I'll tell you,
Life changer.
life's crazy for me, bro. Like, very blessed. I will never not recognize that. So, yeah, that was that situation because it was like, you know, they have the assistant doctor, you know, the guys that still in school come and look, and he like, no, he had no idea that the regular doctor came in until like we had to like search for like this is where the unknown piece was. They're like, we don't know what's going on with you, bro. Like until we found a doctor, it was like, oh, that's what this is. We can get that fixed.
Right.
So,
That's
but
crazy.
it was unknown for like a week or 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane. Now, I know your dad played college ball. Anybody else in the house play any sports?
No, my mom played 1 year of high school basketball.
1 year high school basketball. It just never worked out for
She know
her.
more basketball from just watching me.
Yeah. That's just enough. So how long, how influential was your dad who played? How influential was that on your decision to play sports?
I kind of had no choice to play basketball. As soon as I got to the crib, he had a basketball waiting for me.
So it was just kind of a forced upon thing.
Nah, I wouldn't say forced because my mom actually threw me in a lot of different sports. I played soccer, I did track, I did baseball, I did swimming, I did karate. They threw me in everything. It's just that basketball, man. Like my dad was a high school coach too, so I was around it all the time. And he's very like, you know, very old school when it comes if you got to work hard.
Right. So
it would always, and this was all pure joy, fun for me. You know, just the whole experience of waking up tired, you know, fighting that tiredness, getting shots up for 2 hours, coming home, going back later, shooting. Like he really taught me, like, if you really want to be good at something, like you really got to work hard.
Right.
Because I think one of the biggest things, one of my biggest blessings is that I'm not natural at all. Like,
what do you mean?
Not natural at all. I can't like not work out and then be cool. Like I have to.
Oh, okay.
Like that's what I mean. Like I'm not natural. Like everything that I do in my life, it's because I like really worked hard to get to that.
Right.
And you know, because that's all because of my dad. Sprinkle doing with my mom too, because she would be there for that emotional support. And she would kind of be like my therapist in a way. Like she always like, it's never anybody else's fault, basically. Like you have to figure it out.
Right. Anything that happens, you're in charge. You're in control of this.
You feel me? And like that's kind of one thing that I very clearly understand now, you know, that, you know, you can't really blame anybody else for the situation you're in, because if you do, then it gives them the power and that leaves you powerless. So that's kind of just the mindset that was, you know, driven in my head between the 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, sophomore to junior year at U of I, you saw a big jump in points. What changed? What was different that resulted in the PPG going up? Was it confidence? What played into that? Because, I mean, it was a pretty big jump.
It was probably confidence. Most of my time at Illinois, everything was confidence. You know, so it was just a time and situation where Ray got hurt, and we had like 2 or 3 other players hurt too. But Ray was a big one. He got hurt the day before the game. And I always worked hard. I kind of had a couple games, this and that, like okay games, like 14, 16. Not okay, good games, 14, 16. And so coach, he just flat out, I was a sophomore, or you said from my freshman to sophomore year or sophomore to junior?
Sophomore to junior.
Yeah, okay, so sophomore to junior year, like once I had that 28-point game and Ray got hurt, my confidence, me and Kendrick were playing really well. Yeah. Like, okay, you know, I think I'm good enough to do well.
Right.
You know, so that approach going into my junior that summer, like it's something about that third year. Like once you're in that third year, that's kind of like, okay, like, you know, you kind of know what to expect. in my mind, it was like, I'm going to like just go crazy in the gym. I think that was the summer I made like 30,000 shots on the gun.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
No, bro, I'm like I was basketball and video games.
Wow.
Like I lived in the gym.
So that's the secret combo. That's the combo. If anyone wants to, get a career, play overseas, get some NBA experience, basketball and video games, that's your go-to right there.
No. That was my go-to back in college. Nah, I mean, there ain't no secret to success for real.
Right.
I mean, my formula to success is working hard consistently plus applied faith equals whatever you want.
Right.
And, that's different for everybody. Only you know how hard you're working. And that's kind of something I figured out not too long ago. No, I used to think I was working hard. And so I kind of had a realization like, no, you're kind of working just as hard as everybody else. Are you really working hard? What's really separating you?
What was the realization? Like what led to
the realization?
Because, you think like you're working hard. Like there's things that I do. Now you're making me question some things. I'm going to have to reevaluate. So I'm thinking let's say I think I'm working hard on certain things. I'm doing a documentary right now. I think I'm working pretty hard on it, but it's like, now that you say that, it's like, wait, how do I know if I'm working hard? Like, what is the table or the chart that you kind of found that you really weren't working hard? Like, what was the pinpoint? Like, how do you figure out that? I'm confused.
It was because I noticed that I was becoming very stagnant with my routine.
So just staying there like this, you weren't going just, okay.
Mm-hmm. And those kept, and whenever your routine equals your results.
Absolutely,
so I wasn't kind of really seeing the standout results that I was wanting with basketball. So I'm like, okay, what's something I can change? And man, I say a lot of cliche stuff because when I heard this stuff, I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like Gross was really trying to talk to me personally. Like I'm speaking from me. So like Gross was really trying to like talk this type of stuff into me, like in my head. And like, as a kid, like I just couldn't grasp it. And now that I like grasp, I'm like, dang, like he really like spitting that knowledge to us. But like, it's just finding one thing to get better at, just adding something to your routine that'll make you better. And it's like, and it's hard because the only way you can grow is if you're uncomfortable.
Sure.
And so I put in my head, I'm like, okay, how can I put myself in a situation to become uncomfortable so much that I'm just used to just, being uncomfortable. Right. And once that uncomfortable becomes comfortable, find the next thing. Mm-hmm. So like with me, for example, like my daily routine is, I can tell you my daily routine now. Like I wake up early. Also, I pray, early? Meditate. Was early. Like today I tried to, I shut the light, I shut the blinds. I went to sleep in and I woke up at 8:30. Wow. I was like, what? And I'm like up. But I wake up, I pray, meditate, then I read. Sometimes I don't have time to read and I'll just get to working out. I'll do Pilates, yoga, stretching, a lot of that. I'll work on some mobility. Then I'll get to the gym early, about an hour early. Wow. I'll get extra shots up. So I almost try to get a workout in.
The full day.
I'll try to get a workout in, practice, workout after practice, and I'll come home. I'll work on my real estate business stuff. Then try to read some more, and then I'll just watch some basketball highlights, just like pick the brain of people. Right. And then, go to bed, sleep, pray, meditate, and just repeat. Yeah. That sounds like a lot, right? Sounds like a lot. But I didn't just throw all that on my plate like tomorrow, like, all right, like, let me just try all this stuff at once. No, it started with like, okay,
gradual build up.
Let's make up. Natural build up. It started literally like, okay, let's wake up, make your bed every morning. That was the first thing. I was like, get used to it sounds mad funny, right? Like make your bed in the morning. The next thing was like, okay, clean. Make sure you clean consistently. Right. Don't let the mess build up. Okay, I started with that. All right, cool. I was like, okay, what's next? Maybe you could stretch on your free time, How instead of watching TV, why don't you read a book? Right. You know what I mean? It's just like different things that just pop up in my mind.
Baby steps, and that kind of plays into everything else.
Everything, because like I just always feel like there's always a time for like I'm a firm believer in day of relaxing, enjoying your current situation and present moment.
Sure.
But I just have a hard time just sitting, sitting there just relax. something's always telling me like you could be doing something.
Yeah, I know. I need to be doing
a lot
something.
of the biggest,
Yeah.
but
I said, yeah, there's like this thing where you're like, I know I need to be doing something. Why am I sitting? I shouldn't be sitting.
Yep, exactly. And it's like I have strong motivation behind why I do all this stuff. I think that's the biggest thing, because if you don't have any motivation or real rhyme or reason to do all of that,
right,
you probably won't do it. So that's kind of my big thing. If you want to like have like a very productive routine like that, you have to go within and figure out like what's your goals. Setting goals is a huge thing.
Sure.
Because, you know, for one, you're telling yourself and you're telling the universe, like, this is what I want. And so then when you subconsciously repeatedly read your goals every day, your brain is like, okay, like, how am I gonna, like, this? Your brain is literally doing this. You can feel it. Your brain's gonna be like, you know, just point you to directions. Just, you know, I say it's God just telling you. Once you tell God, I'm a Christian, by the way, for everybody. Christian, I give all my praise to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Once God tells you, like, God will literally just lead you the way. Like, I give God all my praise for the man I am today, because, man, like I said, I used to play video games all day.
Yeah,
I didn't have no goal. I was just kind of going with life, just reacting to what was happening with me. And once I set that goal, I'm like, okay, like, it's like every workout I do, every time I do something, I'm like, okay, this is getting me one step closer to my goal. Because that's all you can do. You can't just wake up magically and, you know, be at your goal. And everywhere that I've read, all like the successful people always say the journey is just as valuable, is just as fun as the end goal. And I'm kind of experiencing that now, just because, like, you know, I kind of surprise myself every day, every week, just like the person I'm becoming. And like, it's just fun because, like, I can see people around me acting different. You know, people are more happy to be around me. Right. I live a life of abundance now. I never used to be like that. You know, I'm just a natural giver, and I don't expect anybody to give me anything because I know God's taking care of me. Sure. So, you know, just with all this stuff happening and stuff, it's like set a big goal, like a huge goal, something you don't even think is possible. Everybody will say that. The 10 times rule book, that even said, like, set a goal you just can't believe and just actively work toward it. And you'll surprise yourself. You will surprise yourself.
Sure. I think that there's a lot of truth to that, and pretty much everything. As long as you give your time and effort into anything and whatever it is that you're doing, you'll see results. And yeah, it takes time. It's not something that just happens, unfortunately. I think even at a youthful age, that's why people gave up on things so quickly. Like, oh, it doesn't work. Okay, throw it away. It's like, no. You have to do this, and this, and then check this, and then it works. But you don't have time for that. Oh, you do, but at that age, you tell yourself you don't have time for it, and you give up on it. And that's, I think, the biggest problem with a lot of people now. But before I move over to the overseas playing and that experience, if you just look back before we move on, what was the highlight of your time at U of I?
The highlight of my time at U of I. The highlight of my time. The one moment I'll always remember was when I cried on national TV. And it was the most embarrassing moment of my life because my friends gave me so much. Oh, man. They're like, man, you gonna cry? Yeah, my senior night against Michigan State, we won, crying like a baby. Yeah, that's probably the one moment. That's one of my favorite moments because, like, it's like everything hit me at once. You know, when I was in college, I'm kind of just living in the present day moment, taking it day by day, trying to get better. And then just to recap, like, man, like everything that I've been through, the summers, you know, all that training, you know, just the time put into the University of Illinois and the things that they have done for me and given me back. It was so emotional. That's probably one of my favorite highlights.
Yeah, overcome with emotion, certainly. That's awesome. Now, first overseas experience, you played with in the Philippine Basketball Association. What was that experience like? First international exposure, you're there. One thing I can say, and I'm sure it was true, and you saw it right away, was their obsession with the Western culture. They love basketball. I had my brother's friend, and him went there for a mission trip years ago, and he was wearing a Kobe Bryant jersey. So people just assume, they go, oh, look, there's this African-American, he's wearing a Kobe jersey. He goes, they took photos of it. They thought he was Kobe. So I'm like laughing at I see the photo and I go, I didn't know anything about that and their culture there. I'm like, what are these people dumb? Like, I'm confused here. Doesn't even look like them, but there's this like fascination with this culture of ours. So was that something that hit you like with a big surprise when you got there?
In the Philippines,
Yeah.
yeah. Like I thought, my opinion, I thought everywhere overseas they love soccer.
Right.
So to see them like everywhere you go is like idol, like oh basketball player, like I'm like first I'm like these people like know English over here, like I had no idea. Right. They know perfect English. Philippines, that's one of the places like I want to go back just to like hang out. Like I loved everything about the Philippines because like not only were they in love with the Western culture, but like they were mad supportive and like the fan base there, like it's crazy. They still hit me up today, you know.
What?
Like a whole 4 years later. So the Philippines, that whole experience was like amazing. I loved everything about the Philippines.
That's awesome. Now, I think you went to Germany then later that year. I think it was April was the Philippines, and later that fall, I think you went to Germany, something like that. I mean, that's a big switch. You're going from, there to there and trying to get accustomed and familiar with, a new home. What was so difficult about that, and what was Germany like?
The most difficult thing about the Philippines thing was I was released. And once I was released, that's my first time. That was my first time in a very long time experiencing like not being wanted. On top of the fact they were like, I basically had to move out pretty quickly. I had to pack up everything and just like
no 2-week notice.
No, I don't work like that in basketball.
I know.
Yeah, but that was tough mentally, and that can be tough for a lot of kids, especially coming out of college. My first 2 months, cut. So okay, what's next? So going to Germany, it's a whole different culture, whole different language. They don't know English as good in Germany as they do in the Philippines.
And they're more soccer fans.
Soccer's the biggest. You know what I'm saying? Soccer's the biggest sport. But everything I did love Germany though. Everything was made very convenient for me. The gym was about 2-3 minutes away from my apartment.
Oh wow, okay.
They had a store next to the gym.
That's all you can ask for.
Yeah, you feel me? And I lived a very simple life back in the day. If I had my video games, I was cool. So
there you go.
Yeah, Germany, that was a fun experience. That first year in Germany.
First year. What happened the second year? You didn't say the second year was good. Because I know you spent
the second year was good too. That was just a life-changing experience. That was when I tore my ACL. Right. And yeah, it's okay. It's the biggest blessing, the best thing that happened to me. That was the best thing at the time that happened to me because it was a reality hit. Like I had a decision to make because the one thing that I loved was took, and it was took for a long time, 10 months. So I had a decision to make. I said, okay, I can, continue to be the same person and kind of like, not make a change, or you could take this time and opportunity, try to become a different person. That was when I first picked up a book for the first time read. And when I read that book, I wasn't a reader, bro. I'm hoops and video games. I'm trying to tell you, I'm telling you, like hoops and video games was my life. Like I would wake up when I was in Germany, I'd wake up and like my friends could testify for this too. Shout out to them, by the way. This is mad random, but like I'm so busy, like I have a hard time like keeping up with my friends. So for the friends watching, like I really appreciate you guys to the fullest, more than you think. But off topic, I used to wake up at like 4 a.m. just to catch the time, get the time right. So the boys on the game back at the crib. Oh, it was a game. I got a scuff controller and all that for real.
Wow.
That was when Fortnite was not too.
Yeah. I'm not, the thing is with me is like all I've ever played is sports games. And like I have the newest Xbox, but like I will crack out the 360 just to play NCAA basketball 10. Cause that's like, I can't like, so it's like, even like on 2K21, like my career, I have like a bunch of different careers because I just want to go through that college gaming experience because I miss it.
You like I think they bringing back college back. I know they're bringing back college football.
So that should be good. But yeah, I don't know. I hope they bring back college basketball. That's such a fun game. But yeah, I feel you on that. That's all I would play. So I wouldn't consider myself a gamer because I never got into Call of Duty and any of that stuff. It's literally every sports catalog from 05. I think I have NBA 2K3 was the first game I have. Brand new condition, still pristine.
2K3,
Allen Iverson on the cover.
Yep.
It was a great game. It was, I think, the last.
GameCube?
It was on the original Xbox. I think it was the last year that Jordan actually was in a game on an active roster. He was on the Wizards or the Washington at the time. But the funny thing is, because of licensing issues, even then, it didn't even say Jordan. It said player. Everyone else had their same names, but because of his likeness and licensing for his name and brand was so expensive, 2K couldn't even afford it. So they just called him player. Like 23 player.
I had no idea.
So that's what it was. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's just filthy rich. But yeah, so that's my thing. That's Video games are good. This is sports ones for me. It's crazy. Now, it's the best, man. It's great. Now you leave Germany to go to Kazakhstan. That's a little bit different. You're going to Middle East. When you get there, what was that like? I mean, did you feel safe? I'm not saying all countries in the Middle East are bad, but I mean, you're in the Middle East. It's a little bit different. You're more of a foreigner there than you were in any other, place that you were, the Philippines and Germany, that is. How'd you settle in and get accustomed to that? I mean, you weren't there for too long, but was it the strangest adjustment you've made?
It wasn't, I wouldn't say it was the strangest adjustment, but it was very, very unique. Okay, so what made this place unique? Top 5 coldest places in the world. Mm-hmm. It touched -40.
Oh my god.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when you ever seen that SpongeBob episode, the Krusty Krab pizza?
I have not. I've seen a bunch of them, but I can't recall.
Oh, I know the viewers are gonna know this one though. But like, it's like the snow and the wind, that stuff is real out there. Like, it gets cold. It gets so cold you can't drive. You have your own driver. And it sounds nice, but like the car wasn't like, it's not no like regular little. Car was actually small for my size, but
wow.
Yeah, you got to have a driver. You got it because it's too cold.
Sure.
So I had someone drive me to practice, drive me back home. You learn to make the most of what you have. The apartment was great. I had a great set of teammates. My guy Jeremiah, I was with him a lot. We hung out. We went to the bowling alley. So it's just all about, which it's very hard to do this.
Sure.
I'm not saying it's easy, but just especially when you're just bouncing around, especially coming into a very unique situation like this, and just having fun in that moment, not worrying about the future, what's going on, not worrying about how you ended up there, just enjoying it like right now. And I haven't even talked about the traveling for games. Like, it took like away games. It took a whole day to get there.
A whole day, like a full 24 hours.
Whole day. Full 12 hours. Sometimes it'll take like a couple of days. I mean, one time we had to like get out and sleep. Yeah. I mean, we're in Kazakhstan.
Play a game? Oh, no.
And we played one game a week. One game a week.
Oh, well, that makes sense. At least it's not like 2 games, 3 games a week. That's insane.
Yeah, that should. Wow. Yeah, for sure.
That's
so you gotta
crazy.
Make the most when you make them trips.
Right. So now you're in a much warmer spot right now in Jerusalem, and you actually have some company over there. I don't know if on your team, but definitely within that league. I think Revante, he's playing over there now, isn't he? Revante Rice, isn't he in that?
He was.
Yeah.
He was last year. Mm-hmm.
Last year. What was that like to have some Illini back over there playing games?
It's pretty fun. It's pretty funny because like the more I play, the more connection. Because there we had like Deion Thomas. My name is blanking on Brian Randall. He played over here, and like the connection, like people still remember them.
Yeah.
So you
awesome.
guys from the same college, stuff like that. They made big names. Like a lot of Illinois guys over here, like a lot have came to Israel and like played really well. I'm blanking. I can't remember everybody's name. Just those 2 up top because those are the most recent I talked to. But yeah, it's pretty cool, fun. And then, coming across Ray was my teammate. So I was like, man, what was Ray like? And I was just hearing like different like stories. I'm like, yeah, that's Ray, man. So just like, yeah, it's pretty cool. And it was great to see him doing his thing. He's in Japan right now, killing. Yeah. He's had a great overseas professional career. So yeah, man, it's been great to see him doing well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of former Illini who have had really great overseas career, including one that, I mean, his storyline is insane. NBA overseas with Brandon Paul. I mean, he's a workhorse. I don't know how he continues to do what he
Yeah,
does, but he just doesn't stop. And that's the most admirable thing. Like, I don't. He's constantly going. Like, he could easily. I mean, he's at the point where he's like, I tried so much. It's like he can hang it up. Nope. No, it's like every day he's just trying to get. I mean, it's insane. I don't know how people do it. It's crazy.
yeah,
Really
yeah.
is.
BP, my dog. I work out with him in the summertime in Chicago. That's like my big brother for real. And yeah, he works hard. You know, he pushes me. You know, I try to push him. Very talented guy. Like, and yeah, he just, you know, he's relentless. I knew that about him in college.
Right.
You know, especially with all the injuries he's had and all the stories that he's told me, his overseas stories.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, he, like you said, like his
Write a
story and
book.
journey is very admirable.
It's crazy.
I'm telling you, man, for real. I might mention that to him.
Yeah, there you go. You can do that. Now, the season. I take it the season's been going this season with for you in Jerusalem. How's that been going?
It's been going good. We had a coaching change in the middle, which was my first time
tough.
experiencing that. Yeah, it is tough. You know, you just got to learn a whole new system, right? But we've been adjusting well so that we got knocked out of our international competition in Champions League. So we're currently in the Israel League, and I think like third or fourth in the standings. And yeah, it's been going great. The thing I love being out here the most is just like I'm able to have a chance to become a better version of myself every day, you know, throughout the whole day. From, you know, just being able to have access to the gym. You know, I really appreciate that. I couldn't do that in Kazakhstan.
Right.
I have that here. You know, I could show up to the gym on my time. I don't have to tell anybody. You know, they have great coaches, great strength coach, great assistant coach, a great assistant strength coach, you know, just everybody all around. You know, I got injured, you know, I broke my hand and they were all over it,
Right.
you know, and
That's
now I'm
good.
fully healed, better than before. So I love it over here. You know, I love the things that they're doing for me, and I'm just striving to become, you know, I'm striving to become better so I can, you know, add more value to, you know, just wherever I'm at and add more value to this team.
Absolutely, man. Now, a few basic questions to wrap things up. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Favorite player growing up to watch?
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant.
By default. Yeah,
By
Dad. Kobe and
default.
Mike.
So it
By
was a
default.
forced.
Pops was like, this is the guy you got to check out right here. Kobe and Mike. So those are my guys growing up.
God rest his soul. It's still crazy to think about it. Oh, man. Favorite shoe?
Favorite shoe? I'll just say, it's my favorite shoe. I'll probably say what's the shoe called? It's back there. The Adidas, the Superstars.
Superstars?
Yeah.
There you go.
Superstar. Can
So
wear
you're
those with
Adidas
anything,
guy.
man.
Yeah, the Adidas guy.
Actually, not the Superstars. The Vans, the black Vans.
The black Vans, those are great. They're classic. They're plain, but they're I love them.
Simple. You can get them dirty. It'll still look good on you. You can wear it with anything.
Yeah, they're great. Now, Mount Rushmore of basketball. So you have to choose. Who's on that Mount Rushmore?
Oh man. I'll just say this: the number one guy on my field is Michael Jordan, and I don't want to. I'm gonna say some names. They're like, "How can you leave that?" I'm just gonna say Mike is the one guy because I gotta really sit down and like think about this because to me basketball is more about it's more than skills now.
Sure.
Like when they say like the game is more mental than physical, like experiencing that, it 100% like it's almost like 90% mental, 10% skill.
Sure.
I kind of almost want to say 95-5 because it's literally all up here. And just watching that documentary, like watching that documentary, just seeing how he handled Mike was the first to deal with everything that came with basketball, shoes, endorsement, fans. He had to deal with that all by himself. No guidance in any of that when it comes to someone who's experienced that before. He's the first one experiencing this. And just to see talk about like consistently talking to fans, and showing up every night to perform and just the mindset of where he took the Bulls and saying, no, like forget that, like, I don't really care how we're used to being traditional. Like, we're going to win, and like just change the whole joint around. And people followed that for years to come. That's why I say Mike's like number one, just that mental mindset, and like, just like watching and understanding, like he literally like continue to find ways to just improve and get better every day. That is so hard. Like, I don't think people understand, like people, like it is really hard to work hard consistently when you come from, from the fact of not every day you're going to feel like working hard.
Right.
The days you should work hard are the days when you, excluding off days, the days you should work the hardest are the days you don't feel like working hard.
Right.
Because most of the time when people don't feel like working out, they're not going to do it.
Sure.
And if you're able to just like push through that and just get used to consistently, like even like, let's say I have a good practice or a good game, to consistently work hard. Like, because a lot of people, like, they're happy with what they have at that moment from working hard from before.
Right.
And to get to the top, like you got to just consistently, like no matter what happens, good, bad, equal, consistently do. And I think I saw someone like success can be boring sometimes because you're doing the same thing every single day.
Yeah.
But I find fun in it just because I find fun in flow.
Yeah.
No, I just flow through everything. When I'm like doing stuff piece by piece, like I'm not thinking like,
you're not thinking about anything.
You feel me? Like
doing it.
I'm
Feels
just
natural.
doing, okay, I got this next. Dang, like it's literally like I'm like enjoying what I'm doing so much, and I'm like, all right, what's next? Like, what can I do next?
Right.
It's like my brain, like I said, I'm very blessed that I reprogrammed my brain to, to think and act like this.
Yeah. No, that's great, man. Well, NBA still a possibility again? Do you think that's gonna come up again in the future?
We'll see. I'll hope for it, but that's not something I really think about.
Right. You're just worrying about now, what you can achieve in this moment, and focusing on now, not looking ahead as much. Because that's all you can do. Yeah. You'll stress yourself out.
I'm telling you, man, like a lot of college kids be stressing themselves out, and that plays a huge role in that mental health for sure. Like just like little stuff, like if I had how can I explain this? Don't for the hoopers out here, like don't let basketball run your life. What do I mean by that? Like if you have if you're at a point where a good game or bad game dictates how you feel throughout the rest of the day or throughout the rest of whatever you have going on, you gotta rethink some stuff, man. Because you're hurting yourself.
Absolutely.
Really. Like, because then you get to second guessing yourself, or like, you just get to overthinking. Instead of having to just naturally be fun. Like I can honestly say, like, I haven't had this much fun playing basketball since I was a kid.
That's awesome, man.
So, and this is all from just writing down my goals. Cause I give myself to God. Like, I'm like, asking you shall receive. Okay, God, like this is what I want. And I will fight every single day to become a better person, to, continually like to, what's the word? Continually make progression toward that goal. And at the same time, just being very harmonious in my actions, because I know my goals are going to get accomplished. Sure. With that being said, I want to teach other people how to, accomplish their goals. That's why I say I'm abundance based, like cause I'm just a normal dude. Like I really am. I'm about, I have a feeling about, we're all the same.
Right.
The only difference is just the ones that are outside, they're just doing something different. Mm-hmm. You feel me? And all the answers are within. All the answers you have are within inside you. Like the stuff that I do is just very creative. Like my workouts and stuff, I get all of them from YouTube.
Really? I think a lot of people do now, which is good. That's what's so great about it. Back then and I think that's what makes the Jordan documentary even more fascinating, is the idea that, this is all coming within. This is all, they had nothing. So I think that makes, you could see college players now, or just NBA players now, during this YouTube era of, the world, where it's like, yeah, that's pretty good. But you're like, wait, they did it with none of that. Like, that's insane. They're coming up with these skills, these routines, these, all these drills and stuff themselves it's like, wow.
You feel me? Like we're in 2021, man. The type of opportunity that we have is unreal compared to the type of opportunity successful people had back then in the day.
Right.
So when you just listen, that's why I said all fields are the same. You know,
Sure.
my basketball field is the same as my real estate field. It's just how you approach each situation in that field. And like, oh, I lost my train of thought.
You said real estate. You do real estate?
Yeah, I'm active on real estate.
Oh, I just sell houses too. That's not a big deal.
I flip houses. Yeah, flip houses, wholesale real estate. I'm able to do all that virtually out here. Yeah, if anybody has a house, that's trash, I will buy it exactly how it is, and we can get that thing going, and you can get cash in your pocket fast.
Anybody with a trash house, Malcolm Hill will help you with that. It's great.
Malcolm Hill buys houses.
That's awesome.
Yes. So, but yeah, that's just part of just like that's part of the reason how basketball doesn't run me. I'm able to take my mind, like I'm able to give my all to basketball in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Let it be.
Right.
Move on to the next thing, and just having like just something else to work on, and something else to just take up my time to fill up my day. It just feels good being productive. It just keeps me like just focused. Just focus on the task at hand.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you doing this.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, man. I appreciate this talk. This was fun.
It's good stuff. I'll send you the link when I have it ready. It'll be coming out Monday, all right?
Monday, we're going to have to do one of these again soon in the future.
For sure, man. I appreciate you. You take care of yourself.
All right, you too, Brody.
All righty. Bye.